Across every corner of our planet, there are places that feel almost unreal, where nature, light, and time come together to create something beyond imagination. From towering mountains carved by ancient forces to endless oceans that fade into the horizon, the Earth is filled with wonders waiting to be discovered. This is a journey through the top 50 most beautiful places in the world, each one a masterpiece shaped by millions of years of geology, weather, and life itself. Glaciers that glow under Arctic light, deserts that shift like waves of gold, forests that breathe with silence, and cities that shine like living constellations. Every destination tells a different story. Some are untouched and wild, others are shaped by human history and culture, but all share one thing in common: breathtaking beauty that feels almost cinematic in real life. From hidden valleys to iconic landmarks, from remote islands to ancient wonders, this journey reveals the most stunning visuals our world has to offer. Prepare to travel across continents, beyond imagination, and into the most extraordinary places on Earth. Corsica. Corsica rises from the Mediterranean with rugged mountains, dramatic cliffs, and turquoise waters. Seaside villages cling to rocky slopes, their narrow streets winding through centuries-old stone houses. The coastline alternates between hidden coves, sandy beaches, and jagged cliffs, offering cinematic perspectives at every turn. The island's natural beauty is complemented by history and culture. Ancient fortresses, rustic villages, and cobblestone squares reveal a past shaped by maritime life and local traditions. Olive groves, vineyards, and forests add layers of green to the landscape. Winding roads, coastal paths, and mountain trails invite exploration. Seasonal light transforms the scenery. Golden sunlight highlights cliffs and beaches, while misty mornings evoke mystery over the mountains and sea. From cliffside villages to hidden coves, from ancient streets to panoramic viewpoints, Corsica invites discovery. Every path, beach, and hill tells a story of resilience, beauty, and the enduring spirit of this Mediterranean island. Lion. Nestled between the Rhone and Saône rivers, Lion unfolds as a city of bridges, historic streets, and urban energy. Winding alleys reveal Renaissance facades, hidden courtyards, and plazas where light plays across terracotta rooftops and intricate stonework. Basilica Fourvière watches from its hilltop perch, offering sweeping views of rivers, rooftops, and distant hills. Elegant bridges span the waters, reflecting sunlight and casting cinematic shadows across the streets below. Festivals, street performers, and bustling markets infuse the city with rhythm and life. Tree-lined promenades and riverside paths invite slow walks, capturing the harmony of nature and urban charm in every frame. As night falls, Lyon transforms. Illuminated bridges, softly lit plazas, and the glow of streetlights reveal a city alive with history, movement, and beauty, leaving travelers with a lasting cinematic impression of its spirit and elegance. Mount Fuji, Japan. Rising above the clouds of central Japan stands a mountain that has become far more than a natural landmark. This is Mount Fuji. With its nearly perfect volcanic shape covered in snow, Mount Fuji is one of the most recognizable mountains in the world. For centuries, it has inspired artists, travelers, poets, and pilgrims, becoming a symbol deeply connected to the spirit and identity of Japan itself. Standing at 3,776 meters, Fuji dominates the surrounding landscape. On clear mornings, the mountain appears quietly above forests, lakes, cities, and distant villages, its massive silhouette visible from hundreds of kilometers away. As sunrise begins, soft golden light slowly touches the snow-covered summit while clouds drift around the upper slopes. Beneath the mountain, peaceful lakes reflect Fuji's perfect shape like a mirror, creating one of the most iconic scenes in all of Japan. It is an active volcano formed by violent eruptions over thousands of years. The mountain seen today was shaped layer by layer through fire, ash, and lava, reminding visitors that beneath its calm appearance still lies immense natural power. During spring, cherry blossoms bloom around the mountain, covering the surrounding landscape in soft pink colors. In summer, climbers move slowly toward the summit beneath clear blue skies. Autumn brings deep red forests across the foothills, while winter covers Fuji in snow and icy winds. As evening arrives, the sky slowly darkens around the mountain while city lights begin glowing far below. Above the clouds, Fuji remains silent and unmoving beneath the stars. What makes Mount Fuji unforgettable is not only its beauty or size, it is the atmosphere surrounding it, calm, powerful, and timeless all at once. Because Mount Fuji is not just a mountain, it is the soul of a landscape. Patagonia, Argentina, and Chile. At the southern edge of South America lies one of the wildest and most untamed landscapes left on Earth. This is Patagonia. Stretching across Argentina and Chile, Patagonia is a land of enormous glaciers, jagged mountains, endless grasslands, and violent weather shaped by the power of nature over millions of years. The region feels vast, isolated, and almost untouched by modern civilization. As sunrise spreads across the Andes Mountains, cold winds move through the valleys while golden light slowly reaches the snow-covered peaks. Massive glaciers crack and shift beneath the weight of ancient ice, while turquoise lakes reflect the mountains like mirrors beneath the open sky. Places like Torres del Paine, Perito Moreno Glacier, and Mount Fitzroy have become some of the most iconic wilderness landscapes in the world. Towering granite peaks rise dramatically above forests and rivers, while storms move quickly across the mountains, changing the entire atmosphere within minutes. But Patagonia is more than beautiful scenery. This is one of the last true wilderness regions on Earth, home to pumas, condors, guanacos, whales, and countless species surviving in harsh natural conditions. The weather here feels alive. Sunlight, rain, snow, and powerful winds can appear all within a single day. At times, Patagonia feels calm and peaceful. Moments later, storms can transform the entire region into something cold, violent, and unpredictable. When evening arrives, golden light slowly covers the mountains while silence spreads across the wilderness once again. There are few cities, few lights, and almost no signs of the modern world. But what makes Patagonia unforgettable is not only its beauty, it is the feeling of standing in a place where nature still feels bigger than humanity itself. Because in Patagonia, the wild still remains truly wild.
Sahara Desert, North Africa.
No roads, no cities, no sound except the wind. The Sahara begins where the modern world slowly disappears. Stretching across North Africa, this enormous desert feels less like a place on Earth and more like another planet shaped entirely by heat, silence, and time. For thousands of kilometers, golden dunes rise and fall like frozen waves beneath an endless sky. During the day, the desert burns beneath extreme temperatures. The sunlight becomes almost blinding as hot winds move across the sand, erasing footprints within seconds. In some regions, dunes can grow taller than buildings, constantly shifting shape as the desert never truly stands still. But the Sahara changes completely when the sun begins to fall. As evening arrives, the endless sea of sand turns deep orange and red beneath the fading light. Long shadows stretch across the dunes while the temperature drops rapidly, replacing unbearable heat with cold desert air. Yet, despite its harshness, the Sahara possesses a strange beauty. The movement of the sand, the endless horizon, the feeling of standing in a place untouched by modern life. At night, the desert becomes something entirely different. Millions of stars appear above the dunes while the Milky Way stretches clearly across the sky. Without cities or artificial light, the Sahara reveals one of the darkest and most breathtaking night skies on Earth. There are moments here when the desert feels alive, not through noise or movement, but through its scale and silence. Because in the Sahara, you do not simply see nature, you feel completely surrounded by it. Santorini, Greece. There are places in the world that look beautiful in photographs, and then there are places that feel unreal the moment you arrive. Santorini is one of them. Built along the edge of ancient volcanic cliffs, the island rises above the Aegean Sea like a dream floating between sky and ocean. White houses cling to the mountainside while narrow pathways twist through glowing villages beneath the Mediterranean sun. In the afternoon, sunlight reflects off the white walls so brightly that the entire island seems to shine. Blue church domes appear above the rooftops while the sea stretches endlessly below the cliffs, calm and impossibly clear. But Santorini is not only beautiful because of what you see, it is the atmosphere, the warm wind moving through quiet streets, the sound of distant waves far below the cliffs, the feeling of slowing down as time seems to move differently on the island. Every evening, people gather silently along the edge of the caldera waiting for sunset. Slowly, the sky changes color, gold, orange, pink, deep red, while shadows move across the white villages. For a few minutes, the entire island glows beneath the fading light. And then, everything becomes quiet again. At night, restaurants and terraces light up beside the cliffs while small boats move across the dark sea below. The island no longer feels crowded or modern. It feels timeless. Yet beneath this peaceful beauty lies the remains of an ancient volcano, powerful enough to reshape the island thousands of years ago. The cliffs surrounding Santorini are reminders that this paradise was born from destruction. Maybe that is what makes the island unforgettable. The contrast, fire and ocean, silence and movement, luxury and ancient history existing together in one place. Because Santorini is more than a destination, it feels like a memory before you even leave. Normandy, France. Normandy stretches along France's northern coast where rugged cliffs meet the endless English Channel. Seaside villages cling to hillsides, their stone houses and narrow streets shaped by centuries of history. Waves crash against jagged rocks, and sandy beaches stretch toward the horizon, offering quiet reflection. The region's history is everywhere. Medieval towns, ancient churches, and monuments whisper stories of the past. Fishing boats drift in harbors, and lighthouses stand tall, guiding travelers through mist and tides. Nature and memory intertwine, creating dramatic and serene landscapes. Country roads wind past orchards, meadows, and rolling hills. Wildflowers bloom along the edges, while farms and grazing cattle add life to the scenery. Each turn offers a new cinematic perspective framed by sunlight and clouds. From cliffside paths to historic villages and coastal trails, Normandy invites exploration. Every beach, alley, and viewpoint tells a story of resilience, beauty, and the enduring spirit of northern France. Paris. Paris rises along the Seine, a city of light, history, and romance. Cobblestone streets wind past centuries-old buildings, grand squares, and elegant bridges, each corner echoing stories of art, culture, and human creativity. The skyline glimmers with iconic landmarks. The Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, and Sacré-Cœur punctuate the horizon, while cafes, markets, and galleries bring life and rhythm to the city. Sunlight reflects on river waters, creating cinematic vistas that shift throughout the day. Parks and promenades offer quiet escapes. Tree-lined paths, fountains, and gardens provide moments of reflection, while the bustling boulevards showcase the pulse of Parisian life, from morning markets to evening lights. From historic alleys to open squares, from riverbanks to panoramic viewpoints, Paris invites exploration. Every street, building, and view tells a story, leaving a lasting impression of elegance, artistry, and the timeless spirit of the French capital. Even at night, the city transforms. Soft lights illuminate bridges and monuments. Cafes spill warm glows onto the streets, and the Seine shimmers under the moon, capturing the magic and romance that make Paris unforgettable. Rotterdam, Netherlands. Rotterdam rises along the Nieuwe Maas, a city rebuilt with bold modern architecture. Sleek skyscrapers, innovative bridges, and geometric buildings create a skyline full of energy and creativity. The city hums with motion, from bustling streets to busy harbors where ships glide through the waterways that shaped its growth. Neighborhoods blend contemporary design with hints of history. Markets overflow with fresh produce and Dutch delicacies, while murals and public installations reveal creativity in every corner. Light reflects off glass facades, creating cinematic moments that change with the day. Parks, waterfront promenades, and riverside paths offer spaces to pause and take in the city. Seasonal shifts transform Rotterdam, from crisp, snow-dusted winters to lively summer festivals along the canals. From iconic bridges to modernist architecture, from bustling markets to quiet alleys, Rotterdam invites exploration. Every street, skyline, and waterfront tells a story of resilience, innovation, and Dutch spirit. Valencia, Spain. Valencia rises along Spain's southeastern coast, where golden beaches meet the vibrant city. Historic streets wind through the old town, revealing Gothic cathedrals, bustling plazas, and charming facades painted in warm hues. Every corner tells stories of art, culture, and Mediterranean life. The city of arts and sciences glimmers with futuristic architecture, contrasting with the ancient squares and quiet alleyways. Markets overflow with fresh produce, oranges, and local delicacies, while street life pulses with color, music, and energy. The Turia Gardens stretch through the city, offering green paths, fountains, and shaded trails. The coastline invites sun, sea, and relaxation, where waves lap against golden sands and boats drift lazily in the harbor. Valencia is a journey through history, innovation, and natural beauty. From medieval streets to modern landmarks, from beaches to gardens, every view captures the city's spirit and invites discovery at every step. Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich sits at the foot of the Swiss Alps, where the Limmat River winds through a city of history, culture, and modern elegance. Narrow cobblestone streets lead past medieval buildings, ornate squares, and centuries-old churches, each corner reflecting the city's rich past while bustling with contemporary life. The river mirrors bridges, spires, and glass towers, while tree-lined boulevards and parks provide tranquil escapes from the city's rhythm. Seasonal shifts bring contrast. Winter blankets the city in snow, while summer fills plazas with festivals, music, and lively outdoor energy. Art, architecture, and everyday life blend seamlessly. Museums, galleries, and theaters reveal layers of creativity, while pedestrians, cyclists, and trams animate the streets. Markets, fountains, and street performances add color and movement, creating cinematic scenes around every corner. Lake Zurich sparkles under sunlight, inviting leisurely walks along promenades or gentle boat rides across calm waters. Hilltop viewpoints reveal panoramic vistas of rooftops, spires, and the distant Alps, merging urban and natural beauty in every frame. From historic alleys to bustling squares, from quiet riverbanks to elevated viewpoints, Zurich invites exploration. Every street, plaza, and panorama tells a story, leaving a lasting impression of Swiss elegance, culture, and cinematic charm. Swiss Alps, Switzerland. Some landscapes feel beautiful. The Swiss Alps feel almost impossible. Hidden in the heart of Europe, these mountains rise above clouds, lakes, forests, and quiet villages, like something created from imagination rather than reality. Snow-covered peaks stretch endlessly across the horizon while cold winds move through deep valleys carved by ice over millions of years. In the early morning, sunlight slowly reaches the mountain summits, turning white snow into glowing gold above the silence below. Wooden villages remain hidden beneath layers of mist while church bells echo softly across the valleys. Everything here feels perfectly still. Crystal-clear lakes reflect enormous mountains like mirrors. Trains move slowly along cliffs and through tunnels cut directly into the rock. Waterfalls fall from impossible heights while green alpine meadows spread beneath the peaks during summer. But the Swiss Alps are more than beautiful scenery. For centuries, these mountains shaped life across Switzerland. Remote villages survived through brutal winters, avalanches, and freezing temperatures, while mountain passes connected Europe through some of the most dangerous routes ever crossed by humans. Today, the Alps remain one of the most cinematic landscapes in the world. Places like Zermatt, Lauterbrunnen, Grindelwald, and Interlaken look less like real locations and more like scenes from fantasy films. Then comes winter. Snowstorms cover entire valleys while frozen forests and icy mountains transform the landscape into a silent white world. At night, lights from distant cabins appear beneath the stars while the mountains remain dark and enormous against the sky. But what makes the Swiss Alps unforgettable is not only their beauty, it is the feeling they create. A feeling of peace, scale, silence, and wonder existing together in one place. Because in the Swiss Alps, nature feels almost too perfect to be real. Amalfi Coast, Italy. There are places in the world that feel almost too beautiful to be real. And along the southern coastline of Italy, one destination continues to captivate travelers like a dream suspended between mountains and sea. This is the Amalfi Coast. Stretching along the cliffs of the Mediterranean, the Amalfi Coast is famous for its dramatic roads, colorful villages, hidden beaches, and breathtaking ocean views. Every corner of this coastline feels cinematic, as if the landscape itself was designed for stories, films, and unforgettable journeys. But the Amalfi Coast is not only beautiful. The coastal road that winds through these mountains is considered one of the most spectacular drives in the world. Sharp turns, narrow lanes, and towering cliffs place travelers only meters away from the endless blue sea below. Yet this danger is also part of the experience. Every turn reveals another unforgettable view. Hidden coves, lemon groves, luxury villas, and sunsets that paint the Mediterranean in gold and orange light. As evening arrives, the coastline transforms once again. Lights begin glowing across the cliffs like stars suspended above the water. Restaurants fill with music and conversation while the scent of salt air and fresh seafood drifts through the streets. But what makes the Amalfi Coast truly unforgettable is not only its scenery, it is the feeling of movement through a place where nature, history, and human life exist in perfect harmony. A coastline where every road feels like cinema, every village feels timeless, and every journey becomes part of the memory itself. Because along the Amalfi Coast, the line between travel and dream slowly disappears. Banff National Park, Canada. Hidden deep within the Canadian Rockies lies a landscape so breathtaking that it almost feels untouched by time. This is Banff National Park. Located in the heart of Alberta, Canada, Banff is known for its towering mountains, turquoise lakes, endless pine forests, and some of the most spectacular wilderness scenery on Earth. Every part of this national park feels cinematic, where nature exists on a scale both peaceful and overwhelming. As sunrise reaches the peaks of the Rockies, golden light slowly spreads across frozen glaciers and crystal-clear lakes. The air feels cold and silent, broken only by the sound of wind moving through the forests and rivers flowing beneath the mountains. Places like Lake Louise and Moraine Lake have become world famous for their unreal blue water, created by glacial minerals carried down from the mountains over thousands of years. Surrounded by massive cliffs and snow-covered peaks, these lakes appear almost too perfect to be real. But Banff is more than scenery alone. Wildlife still moves freely through this landscape. Grizzly bears, elk, wolves, and mountain goats surviving in one of North America's last great wilderness regions. During winter, heavy snow transforms the park into a frozen world of ice, pine forests, and mountain storms. In summer, the valleys become alive with green forests, wildflowers, and endless hiking trails stretching into the Rockies. As night falls, the wilderness becomes silent once again. Above the mountains, the stars begin to appear across one of the darkest skies in North America. But what makes Banff unforgettable is not only its beauty, it is the feeling of standing inside a landscape that reminds humanity how vast and powerful nature truly is. Because in Banff National Park, the wilderness still feels endless. Lake Baikal, Russia. At first glance, it looks like an endless frozen desert, but beneath this massive sheet of ice lies one of the oldest and deepest places on Earth, Lake Baikal. Hidden in the heart of Siberia, this enormous lake has existed for more than 25 million years. Long before modern civilization appeared, Baikal was already here, silent, cold, and surrounded by endless wilderness. During winter, the lake transforms completely. The surface freezes into crystal-clear ice so transparent that the dark water below remains visible beneath your feet. Massive cracks stretch across the frozen surface like lightning trapped inside the earth itself, while frozen air bubbles create patterns that look almost unreal. Driving across Baikal in winter feels less like traveling on Earth and more like crossing another planet. The cold here can become brutal. Temperatures drop far below freezing as icy winds move across hundreds of kilometers of open wilderness. Yet despite these conditions, life still survives. Deep beneath the ice lives thousands of rare species found nowhere else on the planet, including the mysterious Baikal seal, the only freshwater seal in the world. But Baikal is not only about winter. In summer, the frozen landscape disappears, revealing deep blue water surrounded by forests, mountains, and remote Siberian villages. Boats slowly move across the lake while fog drifts between the cliffs at sunrise. Everything about this place feels ancient. The silence, the scale, the endless horizon stretching across the water. Even today, scientists still consider Lake Baikal one of the most unique ecosystems on Earth. A place where nature remained isolated long enough to create a world completely its own. And standing beside Baikal, you begin to understand why locals don't simply call it a lake. To them, It feels more like an ocean hidden inside Siberia. Lake Bled, Slovenia. In the heart of Slovenia lies a small lake that looks as if it was taken directly from a fairy tale. This is Lake Bled. Surrounded by forests, mountains, and peaceful alpine landscapes, Lake Bled has become one of the most magical destinations in Europe. At the center of the lake stands a tiny island crowned by an old church, while high above the water, a medieval castle watches silently from the cliffs. Early in the morning, mist slowly drifts across the surface of the lake as the first light touches the Julian Alps in the distance. The water remains perfectly calm, reflecting the mountains, trees, and sky like a giant mirror. Everything feels quiet, soft, and almost unreal. Unlike loud modern cities, Lake Bled moves slowly. Wooden boats known as pletnas glide silently across the water, carrying visitors toward the island in the center of the lake. The sound of church bells echoes gently through the mountains while birds move across the forests surrounding the shoreline. But beneath the peaceful scenery lies centuries of history. Bled Castle, standing high above the lake, is one of the oldest castles in Slovenia. From its stone walls, the entire landscape opens into panoramic views of forests, snowy peaks, and the emerald-colored lake below. During summer, the region becomes bright and green beneath warm sunlight. In winter, snow covers the rooftops, trees, and mountains, transforming the lake into a frozen alpine world straight out of a dream. As evening arrives, golden light slowly spreads across the water while shadows begin covering the surrounding mountains. The island church glows quietly at the center of the lake as the sky turns orange and blue above the Alps. What makes Lake Bled unforgettable is not dramatic danger or massive scale. It is the atmosphere, the silence, the feeling of stepping into a place that seems untouched by stress, noise, or time itself. Because at Lake Bled, reality feels softer, slower, and almost magical. Hawaii, USA. In the middle of the Pacific Ocean lies a chain of islands shaped by fire, waves, and time itself. This is Hawaii. Known for its volcanic landscapes, tropical beaches, towering cliffs, and deep blue ocean, Hawaii feels unlike anywhere else on Earth. The islands were formed by powerful volcanic eruptions rising from the floor of the Pacific Ocean millions of years ago, creating a landscape where nature still feels alive and constantly changing. As sunrise reaches the coastline, golden light spreads across black volcanic rocks, palm trees, and endless waves rolling toward the shore. The warm ocean air carries the scent of salt, tropical forests, and flowers drifting through the wind. Across the islands, enormous volcanoes dominate the horizon. Places like Mauna Loa and Kilauea remain among the most active volcanoes on Earth, where rivers of lava have shaped the land for generations. But Hawaii is more than beaches and volcanoes. Hidden between the mountains are rainforests, waterfalls, deep valleys, and cliffs dropping dramatically into the Pacific Ocean. Roads curve along the coastline, passing through tropical jungles and remote landscapes that feel completely untouched by the modern world. As evening arrives, the sky slowly turns orange and purple above the sea, while massive waves continue crashing against the shoreline. Palm trees move gently in the wind as lights begin appearing across the islands beneath the fading sunset. At night, Hawaii becomes peaceful once again. Above the volcanic mountains, thousands of stars fill the dark Pacific sky while the sound of the ocean echoes endlessly through the islands. But what makes Hawaii unforgettable is not only its beauty, it is the feeling of standing in a place where fire, ocean, mountains, and culture exist together in perfect balance. Because in Hawaii, nature never stops creating. Komodo National Park, Indonesia. There are places on Earth that feel untouched by the modern world, places where nature still rules with raw power and ancient silence. Komodo National Park is one of them. Hidden among the islands of Indonesia, this remote national park is famous for its prehistoric Komodo dragons, crystal clear oceans, volcanic islands, and landscapes that seem suspended between paradise and danger. As the first light of morning reaches the islands, dry hills begin glowing beneath the tropical sun while turquoise water moves quietly along the coastline. From above, the islands appear almost unreal. Curved beaches, sharp cliffs, and small patches of green surrounded by endless ocean. But beneath this beauty lies one of the most dangerous predators on Earth. The Komodo dragon, the largest lizard in the world, has ruled these islands for millions of years. With powerful muscles, razor-sharp claws, and venom strong enough to kill large animals, these ancient reptiles move slowly through the dry grasslands like creatures from another era. Yet Komodo National Park is far more than dragons alone. Beneath the surface of the ocean exists one of the richest marine ecosystems on the planet. Colorful coral reefs, giant manta rays, sea turtles, sharks, and thousands of tropical fish turn the surrounding waters into a living underwater world filled with movement and color. At sunset, golden light spreads across the islands while shadows slowly cover the dry hills and forests. The ocean becomes calm again, but deep within the wilderness, the dragons continue moving silently through the darkness. Komodo National Park feels wild, ancient, and unpredictable all at once. A place where beauty and danger exist side by side in one of the last truly untamed corners of Earth. Because here, nature still belongs to itself. Dolomites Mountain, Italy. In northern Italy rises one of the most breathtaking mountain landscapes on Earth. This is the Dolomites. Part of the Italian Alps, the Dolomites are famous for their dramatic rock peaks, alpine valleys, crystal-clear lakes, and scenic roads, winding endlessly through the mountains. Unlike ordinary mountain ranges, the sharp limestone cliffs here create a landscape that feels almost unreal. As sunrise reaches the peaks, golden light slowly spreads across the mountains, transforming the pale stone into glowing walls of orange and gold. Below, forests, alpine villages, and quiet lakes remain hidden beneath the morning mist while cold winds move across the valleys. Places like Trecime di Lavaredo, Seceda, and Lago di Braies have become some of the most iconic landscapes in Europe. Travelers from around the world come here to experience the silence, beauty, and cinematic atmosphere of the Alps. During summer, green meadows and wildflowers cover the mountainsides beneath deep blue skies. In winter, heavy snow turns the region into a frozen world of white forests, icy roads, and mountain storms. But the Dolomites are more than beautiful scenery. For centuries, isolated villages survived beneath these towering peaks, building homes, churches, and farms in one of Europe's harshest mountain environments. Today, winding mountain roads lead through dramatic passes, hidden valleys, waterfalls, and cliffs disappearing into the clouds. Every turn reveals another unforgettable view stretching endlessly across northern Italy. Because in the Dolomites, nature feels both peaceful and overwhelmingly powerful at the same time. Faroe Islands, Denmark. Far out in the North Atlantic Ocean lies a remote group of islands where nature still feels untouched by the modern world. This is the Faroe Islands. Located between Iceland and Norway, the Faroe Islands are famous for their towering sea cliffs, violent Atlantic waves, green mountains, waterfalls, and tiny villages hidden beside the ocean. The landscape feels isolated, mysterious, and almost unreal, a place where fog, wind, and storms continue shaping everyday life. As morning arrives, thick clouds drift slowly across the mountains while cold ocean winds sweep through the valleys. Below the cliffs, enormous waves crash endlessly against the dark volcanic coastline, sending white water high into the air. Everything here feels raw, ancient, and untamed. Scattered across the islands are small villages filled with colorful homes and traditional grass roof houses, blending naturally into the landscape. Narrow mountain roads and underwater tunnels connect remote communities separated by dangerous seas and towering cliffs. But the Faroe Islands are more than beautiful scenery. For centuries, people survived here surrounded by storms, isolation, and the harsh conditions of the North Atlantic. Fishing became the center of life, while the ocean remained both a source of survival and constant danger. Places like Mulafossur Waterfall, Drangarnir Sea Arch, and the island of Kalsoy have become famous worldwide for their surreal beauty. At times, the Faroe Islands feel less like Europe and more like another forgotten world hidden deep within the Northern Ocean. When evening arrives, fog slowly covers the cliffs while village lights begin glowing beside the sea. The sound of wind and crashing waves becomes the only thing breaking the silence. But what makes the Faroe Islands unforgettable is not only their beauty, it is the feeling of standing at the edge of the world itself. Halong Bay, Vietnam. In northern Vietnam lies one of the most breathtaking seascapes on Earth. This is Ha Long Bay. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Ha Long Bay is famous for its thousands of limestone islands rising dramatically from emerald green water. Shaped over millions of years by wind, rain, and the sea itself, the landscape feels almost mythical, a place where mountains appear to float above the ocean. As morning mist slowly drifts across the bay, the towering rock formations emerge from the water like ancient stone giants hidden beneath the clouds. The silence of the sea, broken only by the sound of waves and distant boats, creates a peaceful atmosphere unlike anywhere else in Southeast Asia. Scattered between the islands are hidden caves, floating fishing villages, and narrow lagoons surrounded by cliffs covered in tropical jungle. Places like Sung Sot Cave, T-Top Island, and Luan Cave have become famous for their surreal beauty and cinematic scenery. But Ha Long Bay is more than a natural wonder. For centuries, fishermen and local communities have lived among these waters, building floating homes and surviving alongside the changing tides of the Gulf of Tonkin. As travelers move deeper into the bay, every direction reveals another breathtaking landscape: towering limestone pillars, hidden beaches, and endless horizons stretching across the ocean. When night falls, the bay transforms once again. The dark silhouettes of the limestone mountains rise above the water beneath a sky filled with stars, creating a scene that feels timeless and almost unreal. But what makes Ha Long Bay unforgettable is not only its beauty, it is the feeling of drifting through a place where ocean, stone, and mist have created one of the most magical landscapes on Earth. Because in Ha Long Bay, nature feels like a legend brought to life. Lavender Fields, France. There are places in the world where nature feels almost too perfect to be real. And during summer, few landscapes capture that feeling more beautifully than the endless lavender fields of southern France. As the season begins, vast fields of purple slowly cover the countryside across Provence. From the hills to the distant horizon, rows of lavender stretch endlessly beneath the warm Mediterranean sun, creating one of the most peaceful and cinematic landscapes in Europe. As travelers walk between the endless rows of purple flowers, the only sounds are bees moving through the fields and distant church bells echoing from nearby villages. Old stone houses, narrow country roads, and cypress trees complete the scenery, making the entire region feel like a living painting. But lavender fields are more than beautiful landscapes. For generations, lavender farming has been part of daily life across Provence. Every summer, local farmers harvest the flowers to create perfumes, oils, soaps, and traditional products known around the world. During sunset, the fields transform once again. Warm orange light spreads across the purple landscape while long shadows slowly move between the rows of flowers. The colors become deeper and softer at the same time, creating a view that feels almost unreal beneath the evening sky. Some of the most famous lavender fields can be found in places like Valensole and Saul, where rolling hills become completely covered in purple during peak season. From above, the landscape looks endless, waves of color stretching across the countryside beneath the fading sunlight. But what makes lavender fields unforgettable is not only their beauty, it is the atmosphere they create, the silence, the scent carried through the air, and the feeling of escaping into a slower and more peaceful world. Because among the lavender fields, time itself seems to slow down. French Riviera. The French Riviera unfolds along the sparkling Mediterranean, a coastline of cliffs, turquoise waters, and golden beaches. Coastal towns sit atop hillsides, their pastel facades and narrow streets weaving together centuries of maritime life and local tradition. Waves crash gently against rocks while sailboats drift lazily in the sunlit bays. Historic harbors, cliffside promenades, and hidden pathways reveal the region's energy. Markets, festivals, and street performances bring motion and color to squares, while the light of dawn or dusk paints rooftops and water with cinematic warmth. Olive groves, vineyards, and rolling hills frame the coastline, creating layers of texture and beauty. The play of sunlight and shadows across cliffs, beaches, and terraced villages adds a dynamic, cinematic rhythm to every scene. From seaside cliffs to panoramic viewpoints, from quiet coves to lively streets, the French Riviera invites exploration. Every beach, alley, and vista tells a story of elegance, natural beauty, and the enduring charm of the Mediterranean coast. Cappadocia, Turkey. In the heart of Turkey lies a landscape that feels unlike anywhere else on Earth. This is Cappadocia. A region shaped by volcanoes, wind, and time itself. For millions of years, nature carved this land into valleys filled with towering rock formations known as fairy chimneys. Their strange shapes rise from the desert-like terrain like something from another world, creating one of the most surreal landscapes ever seen. As sunrise begins, Cappadocia slowly comes alive. Hundreds of hot air balloons rise silently into the sky while golden light spreads across the valleys below. From above, ancient cave homes, winding stone paths, and hidden villages appear beneath the morning mist, turning the region into a living cinematic scene. But Cappadocia is more than beautiful scenery. For centuries, people carved homes, churches, and entire underground cities directly into the soft volcanic rock. Hidden beneath the surface are tunnels and shelters once used to survive war and invasion. Today, travelers from around the world come to experience the silence, mystery, and unreal beauty of this ancient land. Because in Cappadocia, every valley, every cave, and every sunrise feels like part of another world. Dead Sea, Israel and Jordan. Between Jordan and Israel lies one of the strangest places on Earth. This is the Dead Sea. Located more than 430 meters below sea level, the Dead Sea is the lowest exposed point on the planet. But what makes this place truly famous is not its depth, it is the water itself. The Dead Sea contains one of the highest salt concentrations in the world, so salty that almost no life can survive within it. There are no fish beneath the surface, no underwater plants, only a silent body of water surrounded by the dry deserts of the Middle East. As sunlight reflects across the calm surface, the entire landscape feels surreal. Massive rocky mountains rise around the shoreline while the hot desert air carries the scent of minerals from deep beneath the earth. Stepping into the water feels almost impossible to believe. The extreme salt concentration naturally lifts the human body to the surface, making it nearly impossible to sink. Visitors simply float effortlessly above the water while endless desert landscapes stretch behind them. But the Dead Sea is more than a natural wonder. For thousands of years, this region has been connected to ancient civilizations, trade routes, and biblical history. Nearby are ancient caves, old fortresses, and sacred landscapes that have survived through countless generations. The mineral-rich black mud along the shoreline has also made the Dead Sea world famous. For centuries, people have believed the mud contains healing properties that help restore the skin. Yet, despite its beauty, the Dead Sea is slowly disappearing. Water levels continue to fall every year as rivers feeding the sea become increasingly reduced. But even as the landscape changes, the Dead Sea remains one of the most surreal places on Earth. A place where silence, desert, history, and salt come together in a way that feels almost unreal. Edinburgh, United Kingdom. Edinburgh rises from the rugged hills of Scotland, a city carved from stone, history, and imagination. The skyline is dramatic, crowned by the iconic castle that watches over cobblestone streets, hidden courtyards, and historic plazas. Mist drifts through the alleys, carrying whispers of centuries past, while sunlight flickers on slate roofs and ancient walls. Every corner pulses with life, culture, and stories waiting to be discovered. The Royal Mile stretches through the heart of the city, lined with medieval buildings, artisan shops, and bustling squares. Festivals, street performers, and the scent of Scottish cuisine fill the air, blending tradition with contemporary energy. Markets overflow with local cheeses, baked goods, and fresh produce, offering a glimpse into daily life that feels both authentic and cinematic. Beyond the streets, Arthur's Seat rises above the city, offering sweeping views of rooftops, the Firth of Forth, and distant highlands. Parks, gardens, and cliffside trails provide quiet moments, while the wind carries the sounds of waves, gulls, and city life in harmony. Nature and urban landscapes merge, creating perspectives that shift with light, weather, and season. From historic landmarks to hidden alleys, from lively squares to serene hilltops, Edinburgh invites travelers to explore at every turn. Each street, plaza, and viewpoint tells a story of architecture, heritage, and Scottish spirit, leaving an impression that lingers long after the journey ends. Madrid, Spain. Madrid stretches across central Spain, a city of energy, sunlight, and vibrant streets. Golden squares open onto avenues lined with elegant facades, while historic buildings blend seamlessly with modern architecture. Every alley, every plaza holds centuries of stories waiting to be explored. The city hums with life. Street performers, colorful markets, and the aroma of fresh pastries and local delicacies fill the air, while people stroll along tree-lined boulevards and sunlit squares. Light dances across fountains, sculptures, and the ornate details of palaces and cathedrals. Parks and gardens provide moments of calm, where fountains ripple and paths wind through shaded greenery. Rooftop terraces and hilltop viewpoints reveal sweeping panoramas over the city, the distant mountains, and the sunlit rooftops. From bustling streets to hidden corners, from lively squares to tranquil gardens, Madrid invites visitors to experience history, culture, and everyday life. Every scene feels cinematic, a rhythm of movement, color, and light that lingers long after the city is left behind. Moscow, Russia. Moscow rises along the Moskva River, a city where history, culture, and modern life collide. Its skyline blends colorful onion domes, golden spires, and sleek skyscrapers, creating a dramatic panorama that reflects centuries of architecture and ambition. Mist drifts through cobblestone alleys, while sunlight flickers across historic walls and plazas, bringing every corner to life. Red Square pulses with energy, framed by St. Basil's Cathedral, the Kremlin walls, and elegant arcades. Street performers, musicians, and bustling markets fill the air with sound, color, and motion, while fountains and statues stand as timeless witnesses to the city's stories. Every frame feels cinematic, capturing Moscow's vibrant heartbeat. The Royal Mile and surrounding streets twist through medieval buildings, hidden courtyards, and artisan shops. Cafes, galleries, and boutiques reveal layers of culture and history, while festivals, parades, and celebrations bring streets to life with music, lights, and the rhythm of Russian life. Beyond the center, the Moskva River winds through the city, reflecting sunlight on bridges and modern skyscrapers. Parks, gardens, and tree-lined boulevards offer calm escapes amid urban energy. Seasonal shifts transform the city. Winter blankets, streets, and towers in snow, while summer bathes Moscow in warm light and open-air festivities. From historic landmarks to quiet alleys, from bustling squares to serene riverbanks, Moscow invites exploration at every step. Every street, plaza, and view tells a story of power, culture, and grandeur, leaving visitors with lasting memories of Russia's heart, its energy, and its cinematic soul. Marseille. Marseille spreads along the sparkling Mediterranean, a city of history, harbors, and sunlit streets. The old port pulses with life as fishing boats and yachts glide through turquoise waters, while historic buildings and fortresses rise above cobblestone alleys. The scent of the sea mingles with salt and fresh seafood, creating a sensory tapestry unique to this coastal city. Historic neighborhoods, hilltop forts, and narrow lanes reveal centuries of culture and maritime heritage. Sunlight dances across rooftops, domes, and harbor walls, creating cinematic perspectives that shift with every hour. Coastal promenades and scenic viewpoints invite exploration. Waves crash on rocky cliffs, while trails wind through olive groves and hidden coves. The interplay of light, water, and landscape paints every scene with cinematic depth. From bustling ports to panoramic hills, from lively streets to quiet harbors, Marseille invites discovery. Every alley, plaza, and coastal view tells a story of resilience, beauty, and the enduring spirit of southern France. Strasbourg. Strasbourg sits along the banks of the Ill River, a city where medieval charm meets vibrant modern life. Half-timbered houses line winding streets, and cobblestone alleys open onto bustling squares filled with cafes, markets, and the aroma of Alsatian cuisine. Every corner tells stories of history, culture, and river life. The Grande Ile, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, shimmers with Gothic architecture. The spire of Strasbourg Cathedral rises above the city, while bridges arch gracefully over canals, reflecting the beauty of light and water in cinematic ways. Riverside promenades and tree-lined boulevards invite leisurely walks. Boats drift along the canals, sunlight glints on shutters and rooftops, and seasonal festivals fill streets with music, color, and joy. From historic squares to quiet alleys, from cobblestone bridges to lively markets, Strasbourg invites exploration. Every street, canal, and viewpoint captures the essence of Alsace, blending history, charm, and cinematic beauty in every frame. Barcelona, Spain. Barcelona stretches between the Mediterranean Sea and gentle hills, a city alive with color, movement, and discovery. Winding streets in the old quarters open onto hidden squares, terraces, and alleyways filled with stories of centuries past. Sunlight dances across rooftops, highlighting ornate balconies and the textures of historic buildings. Every corner feels alive, each frame rich with culture and energy. The coastline glimmers with turquoise waters and golden sands, where waves lap against the shore and sailboats drift lazily. Waterfront promenades invite leisurely walks, offering views of bustling marinas, tree-lined avenues, and distant hills that frame the city. From hilltop viewpoints, Barcelona unfolds in cinematic panoramas, blending urban life with the sparkling Mediterranean. Art and culture flow through every street. Sculpted squares, murals, and fountains reveal creativity in every corner, while music, festival lights, and street performances bring neighborhoods alive. The rhythm of the city is a symphony of movement, color, and sound, each scene picturesque and cinematic. From historic streets to sunlit beaches and vibrant squares, Barcelona is a journey of discovery. Every alley, terrace, and viewpoint invites exploration, revealing a city where history, coastal beauty, and urban energy coexist. Here, every scene tells a story, and every step leaves a memory that lingers long after the journey ends. Brittany. Brittany rises along France's rugged northwest coast, where cliffs drop into the Atlantic and waves crash against rocky shores. Seaside villages perch on hills, their stone houses and narrow streets shaped by centuries of maritime life. Each harbor, cove, and lighthouse tells a story of sailors, storms, and coastal resilience. The region's landscape blends wild nature and human history. Meadows, orchards, and forests weave through rolling hills, while ancient churches and quaint towns reveal centuries of culture and tradition. Wind sweeps through cliffs and beaches, carrying the scent of salt and wildflowers. Coastal paths and hiking trails offer cinematic views of the sea, cliffs, and villages below. Hidden coves and quiet beaches invite exploration and reflection, where light and shadow shift with the time of day, creating unforgettable scenery. From historic ports to cliffside paths, Brittany invites discovery at every turn. Each village, beach, and viewpoint captures the essence of a region defined by nature, heritage, and the enduring spirit of the Atlantic coast. Lofoten Islands, Norway. Far above the Arctic Circle, where mountains rise directly from the sea, lies one of the most dramatic landscapes in Northern Europe. This is the Lofoten Islands. Located off the coast of Norway, the Lofoten Islands are famous for their sharp mountain peaks, icy fjords, fishing villages, and Arctic wilderness. Unlike most places in the world, nature here feels wild, cold, and incredibly powerful. The mountains of Lofoten rise almost vertically from the ocean, creating landscapes that feel cinematic from every direction. Narrow roads wind between cliffs, bridges connect isolated islands, and small villages remain surrounded by endless Arctic waters. For centuries, fishing has shaped life across these islands. During winter, enormous cod migrations from the Barents Sea transformed Lofoten into one of Norway's most important fishing regions. Even today, wooden drying racks filled with cod remain part of the landscape. As travelers move through Lofoten, every road reveals another breathtaking scene. Steep mountains reflected in calm fjords, hidden beaches surrounded by snow-covered peaks, and tiny villages resting beneath enormous cliffs. Places like Røn, Hamnøy, and Henningsvær have become world-famous for their unreal beauty and dramatic Arctic atmosphere. At times, the islands feel less like Europe and more like the edge of another world hidden in the north. But what makes the Lofoten Islands unforgettable is not only their beauty, it is the feeling of standing in a place where ocean, mountains, weather, and isolation still control everyday life. Because in Lofoten, nature always feels larger than humanity. Maldives. Scattered across the Indian Ocean lies a country made almost entirely of water, coral, and light. This is the Maldives. Made up of more than 1,000 tropical islands, the Maldives is famous for its crystal-clear lagoons, white sand beaches, overwater villas, and endless shades of blue stretching across the ocean. From above, the islands look like tiny emerald rings floating in the middle of the sea. But beyond the luxury and beauty, the Maldives feels different from almost anywhere else on Earth. Here, the ocean is not simply part of the landscape, it is the landscape itself. Under the surface exists another world entirely. The Maldives is home to one of the richest marine ecosystems in the Indian Ocean. Coral reefs filled with tropical fish, sea turtles, reef sharks, manta rays, and glowing underwater life surround the islands in every direction. In some areas, the ocean becomes so clear that boats appear to float above the water itself. Sunlight penetrates deep beneath the surface, creating reflections and colors that feel almost unreal. For centuries, island communities survived here, surrounded by the vast open ocean. Fishing, navigation, and life beside the sea shaped the culture long before the islands became one of the world's most famous travel destinations. As evening arrives, the sky slowly turns orange and pink, while the calm sea reflects the fading sunlight like glass. At night, the islands become peaceful and silent beneath endless stars above the Indian Ocean. On certain beaches, glowing bioluminescent plankton light up the shoreline like blue stars moving through the waves, creating one of the most magical natural phenomena on Earth. But what makes the Maldives unforgettable is not only its beauty, it is the feeling of being surrounded completely by ocean, light, silence, and endless horizon. Because in the Maldives, the sea feels infinite. Bryce Canyon National Park, USA. In the deserts of southern Utah lies a landscape that feels more like another planet than Earth itself. This is Bryce Canyon National Park. Unlike traditional canyons carved by rivers, Bryce Canyon is famous for its endless collection of towering rock formations known as hoodoos, massive stone pillars shaped over millions of years by wind, ice, and erosion. Stretching across the desert in endless waves of orange, red, and white stone, the landscape feels surreal, almost impossible to believe. From above, the canyon appears endless. Thousands of hoodoos rise from the earth like an ancient lost city hidden beneath the desert sky. Every viewpoint reveals another maze of stone walls, narrow passages, and towering formations sculpted entirely by nature. But Bryce Canyon is more than a beautiful landscape. At over 8,000 feet above sea level, the park experiences dramatic weather throughout the year. Winter snow covers the red rock formations in white, transforming the canyon into one of the most unique landscapes in North America. As travelers walk through the narrow trails below, the scale of the canyon becomes even more overwhelming. Towering walls of rock surround the paths while silence fills the desert air. At night, Bryce Canyon transforms once again. Far from major cities, the park is known for having some of the darkest skies in the United States. Thousands of stars appear above the canyon while the desert below disappears into darkness. But what makes Bryce Canyon unforgettable is not only its strange beauty, it is the feeling of standing inside a landscape shaped slowly by time itself. A place where wind, ice, and erosion created a world that feels ancient, silent, and completely unreal. Because inside Bryce Canyon, nature became an artist. San Francisco. San Francisco rises between the Pacific Ocean and steep rolling hills, a city shaped by fog, wind, and endless motion. The Golden Gate Bridge emerges through drifting mist, its red structure cutting across the horizon like a symbol between sea and sky. Every moment feels alive with shifting light and atmosphere. The city moves with vertical energy. Cable cars climb steep streets, passing rows of Victorian houses painted in soft colors, while downtown towers reflect the changing skies above the bay. Each street feels like a cinematic path carved into the hills. Along the waterfront, life flows with the tide. Fisherman's Wharf, piers, and open promenades stretch into the ocean air, where boats drift and seagulls circle above the waves. The sound of the city blends with wind and water in constant rhythm. Neighborhoods unfold with character and contrast, from vibrant murals to quiet residential streets. From bustling markets to hidden stairways, every corner reveals layers of culture, movement, and history shaped by generations of change. As day fades, San Francisco transforms. Golden light breaks through fog, bridges glow against the darkening sky, and the city becomes a balance of silence and energy. Every view lingers like a memory carved in light and mist. Los Angeles. From the endless highways of the American West, the journey leads to a city known around the world, a place where dreams are not only imagined, but pursued. Welcome to Los Angeles. Bathed in sunlight for most of the year, Los Angeles unfolds across mountains, valleys, and the vast Pacific coastline. It is a city of movement and contrast, where modern skylines rise above historic neighborhoods, and where every street seems to tell a different story. But Los Angeles is more than a collection of landmarks. It is a city built on ambition. For generations, artists, entrepreneurs, and dreamers have come here searching for opportunity, helping shape a culture unlike anywhere else on Earth. Among its many identities, perhaps the most captivating is its connection to storytelling. From legendary film studios to streets recognized across the globe, Los Angeles has long been a place where imagination becomes reality. Yet even beyond the cameras, there is something cinematic about everyday life here. As the day slowly fades, the city reveals another side of its character. Lights begin to shimmer across the hills, stretching endlessly into the distance like a sea of stars. The energy remains, but it softens, creating moments of quiet beauty hidden within the rhythm of urban life. And standing above it all, watching the city glow beneath the California night, it becomes clear why Los Angeles continues to inspire millions. More than a destination, it is a symbol of possibility, a place where every journey feels like the beginning of a story still waiting to be told.